Hello everyone, I'm your host Mariana and you're listening to A Degree Farther, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we feature current students, alumni and faculty who are innovators on our campus and in our community. Welcome listeners to another episode. Today we have the pleasure of hosting Amanda Dymek, a dedicated advocate for holistic wellness and the current director of wellness at Hood College, position in which she is being for the past 3 years. In her role, Amanda supports the well-being of Hood's undergrad and graduate students, faculty, and staff through programs and policies. Especially, she has led campus-wide walking challenges, mindfulness programs, and hosted events to build community in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Amanda received her Master's of Science in Public Health from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health in Baltimore, Maryland. After receiving her Master's and prior to coming to Hood College, Amanda worked in community nutrition and employee wellness. Join us as we delve into Amanda's experiences, insights, and the transformative power of prioritizing wellness in academic settings. Enjoy it! Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to A Degree Farther. Today I am so excited with this guest that we have. Her name is Amanda Dymek and she is the director of wellness in Hood College. So welcome, Amanda. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so we can start by presenting yourself. If you can talk us a little bit about who you are and what's your role here at Hood College.
Sure. So I am the director of wellness at the college. I've been here for a little over 3 years, and my role is to support the well-being of our undergrad and graduate students, our faculty and staff, which is a lot of people on campus, and it's great that I get to work with so many different people. So how do I do that? I do that through having health education and health promotion activities, different programs that happen on campus to support the well-being of our community. And then I also work on different committees to help influence policies and procedures on campus to make it easier to be well while you're here.
Nice. So let's start by defining wellness, like how you will define wellness for those who are listening and are studying or working here at the campus.
Absolutely. So I think we traditionally think about wellness in terms of the physical aspects of it. Are you sleeping? Are you eating well? Are you exercising? I think we also traditionally think about mental and emotional health, and then maybe even social health. Like, do you have good relationships that you trust and value and are pouring into you and you are pouring into them? Hood expands that definition of wellness. We include those 3 aspects, but we also include 5 others. So we have 8 different aspects of wellness. And so the other 5 that Hood incorporates is occupational wellness. So are you, working towards your goals? Are you challenged in your field? Do you feel like you can make a difference in the work that you're doing? Financial wellness. Do you have short and long-term goals? Are you living within your means? Environmental wellness. This isn't just like picking up trash. It is also, are you contributing to your environment? Kind of that civic engagement piece. There's intellectual health. Are you curious? Are you accepting of other people's points of views and considering those? And then spiritual wellness. And this isn't just a traditional religious practice. It also includes your values and having a purpose and understanding that and living that out. So there's a lot of things that kind of fall into wellness, which is really great because there's a lot of work that somebody can do to be well. It doesn't just have to be having a really great gym routine or something like that.
So how many are in total?
So there's 8 is 8. What Hood focuses on. There's lots of different models. Some people do 5, some people do 6, but Hood really, thinks that this is important and wants to include all of those pieces.
Okay, and what recommendations, I'm sure there's a lot to talk about this, like if it's 8 aspects, but general recommendations that you could give for students, especially graduate students that are studying here at Hood College.
Absolutely. So kind of, continuing on what is wellness, I think it's not a mastery of any or all of those things that I just shared. I think wellness is all about having a balance and living that out on a daily basis. So you don't, all that to say, you don't have to be perfect in every area of your life, and nobody can be. And especially our graduate students who are juggling so many responsibilities. They might have caregiving responsibilities. They might be working full or part-time in addition to going to school. So we know that there's a lot of other things. And so to do all of those things and be a student and, take all this time to work on these 8 areas is a lot. And it's not realistic. So I think just giving yourself the grace and kindness as a graduate student to know that you can't do it all, and that what you're doing is enough. I think that that's something we don't often give ourselves enough credit for, is that kind of grace. Because there's a lot of things pulling our time and attention and energy, and that can feel like a lot to juggle, and it can be very overwhelming, which is the opposite of what we want when we're working on our wellness.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you about that, because sometimes it's so hard. It's so hard when we as graduate students have, like, for example, some habits that are like help us for our wellness, but then we have others that doesn't. Like, for example, we do exercise, but then, and we eat well, but then we are not sleeping enough, or so how to manage this frustration that sometimes it comes with not having the whole balance in all the 8 aspects.
Absolutely. So again, that grace and kindness thing, just giving yourself compassion to know that that we can't be perfect all the time. I think there's another aspect of this kind of this consciousness of self, of understanding what you need in the moment. So for example, you need to have a conversation with your partner about something that happened during the day, or about a child, and you need to have that potentially difficult conversation, but you're also getting home from a long day of work and school and you're hungry. And so let's take care of the one need before we address, the social need that we have there. So let's address the physical need by, eating something and nourishing your body and putting off that conversation, but we can come back to that. And so another example might be if you have an assignment that is due, or you're studying for an exam, and you get home at the end of the day and you're working on this and it's 9:00, but you have to get up at 5 a.m. for a presentation for work the next morning. How do you balance that? And so it's, again, kind of recognizing, what do I need in this moment? I need sleep so that I can get up and I can do my job tomorrow and give this presentation. And that might mean that we sacrifice getting that assignment done that night, or we have to make adjustments. But I think we just have to kind of be kind to ourselves and give us what we need and understand what we need in that moment.
So it will be something like prioritizing, like maybe.
Yeah, certainly. There's definitely a prioritizing, aspect to it. And we often, school is a priority. Absolutely. I'm not negating that that's not important and valuable. And this is, a wonderful thing that our graduate students are working towards their advanced degrees. But that's not all of who our graduate students are. They're not just students. They are partners. They are caregivers. They are friends and neighbors. And those other things are important too. And so I think, the balance, the prioritization, the care that we can show for ourselves is really important.
Yeah, I feel so important that you mentioned that, because sometimes as students we feel so proud and lucky of being in a graduate school, or like studying a master or a PhD, and we forget like the other areas of the life, and there's where balance starts to not appear.
Yes. And that, as somebody who went through graduate school, and I was commuting and working at the same time, it's a lot. And and it's a great accomplishment that our students are working towards. They should be proud of that, but also not negate the other wonderful parts of their identity.
Yeah, you mentioned also a word that I feel that is very important, that is consciousness about wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because sometimes I feel like that happens a lot, that we are not conscious of how important is to be like
Yeah,
wellness. So
absolutely. Um, I'll go back to the example that I kind of gave, and I know that this is true for me. At the end of the day, I'll sit with my husband and we're having a conversation at dinner, and I know I want to talk to him about this thing. And he just came home from a stressful day at work, and I know in my mind that this is not the time to bring this up, but I feel like I have to get it out. And so it's important that we kind of just are aware and slow down. I think that's one big piece of kind of this consciousness or mindfulnessness, is we slow down and resist that impulsiveness, so that we can listen and we can pay attention. And there's a lot of strategies that we can use to do that. We have a great resource on campus. Reverend Beth O'Malley, who's our dean of the chapel, she does a lot of really great work in mindfulness and consciousness and these types of things. But some practical tools is just taking a deep breath. That when we're stressed or anxious, our heart rate's increasing, our breathing is increasing, and that's kind of that stress response that our body is exhibiting. And when we take a deep breath, we are actively resisting that, and we are telling ourselves, like, you are okay. It is, we're calming our bodies. And so it sounds, cheesy or corny to say, oh, just take a deep breath. I think, we brush that off a lot, but it really is powerful. Kind of some other quick mindful strategies that kind of can help you notice what you need, is doing a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you, in whatever space you're in, you notice what are 5 things that you can see, and you just kind of list them to yourselves. What are 4 things that you hear? What are 3 things that you feel? Like literally emotions too, but I feel my feet on the floor, my hands on the desk. 2 things that you smell, and maybe 1 thing that you taste. And by engaging our senses, we are drawing our mind's focus away from all of the distractions and all of the many things that we're juggling, and we're focusing in that moment. And that can help us to understand more fully what we need and help with that prioritization to understand, okay, I'm studying, I'm tired, I need to take a break. Let me go take a walk around the library or around the building, or let me go downstairs and get a cup of water, and then I'll come back. That can be really helpful.
yeah, sometimes I just stop and I just drink a cup of water, and it sounds, yeah, like you say, like it sounds so little, but it can mean
you're feeling the cool of the water going through your body temperature. You might notice you get a little chilled from if you're drinking cooler water. You can tell your mouth isn't dry anymore. All of those things that we notice, again, just helps to bring us into the moment. And sometimes that's the only break that we need. We just need to be kind of brought in from all of the distractions and things that are pulling our attention, and let's just focus on this moment, even if it is just for 3 seconds as you're drinking your water.
Yeah, okay, so we have some tips like prioritizing, being conscious, and maybe use these mindful techniques like being present and feeling what your senses are feeling.
Absolutely.
Or drinking a cup of water, maybe doing things like separate like the objectives, the goals, like doing it in little goals instead of big goals.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of times we struggle with attaining our wellness goals because our goals are so big, and that's wonderful and that's aspirational, but that's really hard to accomplish, especially when, as we've been talking, there's lots going on. So if you can focus on one thing, is it that you want to save $5 a week, and that's your goal, because you have a financial goal, you want to increase your savings. If you want to drink more water, and so you really prioritize having filling your water bottle regularly, or you want to increase your social relationships. And so you commit to going to the dining hall or going out to lunch with a coworker or a colleague. Just picking one thing, I think, can really be helpful. And when we accomplish that, we feel accomplished. It's amazing. And we want to continue and we want to push and continue to grow. But yeah, I think we often dream big, which is really lovely and beautiful. But again, going back to that grace and kindness, let's give ourselves something that's realistic and attainable, and let's narrow that down a little bit.
Yeah, and then be aware that you made it and give a word for that, like reward for that.
Yeah, let's recognize, let's celebrate. If you saved and reached your savings goal by doing that $5 a week, awesome. Whatever that goal was, let's go do it and celebrate, and then let's start our next goal. Absolutely.
Yeah. What are other resources that we have as students and also as faculty members here to maintain wellness?
Yeah, I will say that, while my title is Director of Wellness, I am not the only person who is doing this work on campus. And that's just really wonderful that there are a team of people who are committed to supporting the well-being of our students and our faculty and staff. So one resource that's available on the Hood website is our grad care webpage. So if you go to hood.edu/grad care, there is a whole list of resources. We break it out by these 8 dimensions of wellness. And so if you, for example, are working on your financial health, that's a goal that you have, you could go to our financial tab, and there is a link to get low cost or free tax help. So, April 15th is tax day. And so if that's something that, you really feel like you need help on, we have a link that'll direct you to local organizations that can help you. If you're interested in some of this mindfulness work that we're doing on campus through Rev Beth in the chapel, we have links to that. So the grad care website, hood.edu/grad care, is a great kind of one-stop shop to start looking at some of these resources. And if folks are new to the Frederick area, that's a good place. There's a lot of local resources as well.
That's amazing. I didn't know about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's lots of good stuff. Another online resource is the Hood College Wellness Instagram page. We put a lot of information out there. We post about our events. And so our Instagram handle is at hoodcollege_wellness. You can follow us there.
Didn't know about that either.
Yes, it's relatively new, and I'm not a social media guru. And actually, while we're on the topic of social media, just a caution, a barrier sometimes to wellness, I think, is discontentment. And I think social media can really breed this discontentment in us. We see not only our friends on social media, but we see other pages that are recommended to us, and everybody has the latest gadget, or they look so wonderful in their daily life, and that can make us really, feel challenged, and that we're not reaching our goals, or that we're not doing it as well as somebody else. So you'll always get positive and encouraging messages on the Hood College Instagram page, but beware to kind of, just be aware of what you're looking at and what's being promoted to you.
I'm so glad that you mentioned social media, because it's definitely a thing right now.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be aware of what content we're watching and how many hours or how many time we are taking to watch that content.
Yeah.
That it's a big wall sometimes to maintain wellness balance in our life.
Absolutely. Just a couple other resources. There are 2 people and 1 place that I wanted to share with the graduate students. So 2 people, the first is there's a graduate student success coordinator in the graduate school office, and they are ready and willing to help you kind of walk through some of these things. If you're struggling in your classes and having a difficulty finding that balance, they're a great person to go to. So I wanted to highlight our graduate student success coordinator. I also wanted to highlight for any students who have a meal plan on campus, or even just have the Blazer bucks that they load onto their student account to get food at the library or the Blazer Cafe or the cafeteria. Aramark has a dietitian on staff, and so they're able to meet with any students, including our graduate students who have meal plans or have dining dollars, to kind of help them navigate the food environment on campus, but also help you to kind of look at what are your personal goals in terms of nutrition. So that's another really great resource. And then the place that I wanted to share is we have a lactation room on campus. It's in the Apple Resource Building on the first floor. It's room 8B. So if we have any students who need to use that resource, it's on a first come, first served basis. It's there's a comfortable space, bring your equipment, but it is a separate space that is for our community members who need to use it. And so it's kind of tucked away, but it's a wonderful resource that Hood does have.
Yeah, that's great. And the nutrition service is free?
It is. So good. Yep. So it's just for anybody who has any sort of meal plan or dining dollars. But yes, it is free. Maybe in the show notes, if we can include, I have the link to sign up, so we can include that in the show notes for folks, or they can reach out to me. My email is wellness@hood.edu, and I'd be happy to connect folks as well directly.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I will add all of this to the description of the episode so people can reach you or any of these resources. I don't know if there is anything else that you would like to add.
Oh, I feel like I've done a lot of talking in the past few minutes. So just know that, like I said, I am not the only person who is doing this work. There's a lot of staff members, a lot of faculty really care. I would say all of our faculty really care about our students. And so if you are struggling in any of these areas, we have people who are here to help, and we would love to talk with you and learn more and figure out how we can best support you. Hood, we truly want you to be healthy at Hood and everything that means. So please do reach out to your faculty member, to me, to the graduate success coordinator. Any of us would be happy to talk with students more.
Thank you. Thank you so much for remembering us. How important is this? Make lists, prioritize, be conscious. What else we say? Use all these resources, you are not alone.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here. I hope this conversation was helpful for everyone listening. For those interested in learning more or contact Amanda directly, her office is on the first floor of the JH Apple Resource Building, room 4, and her email is wellness@hood.edu. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe to know when we have new episodes. Thank you so much for listening to A Degree Further, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we help you go farther in your life, in your career, and in your community. Be sure to tune in next time and to catch up on all the latest episodes. Visit hood.edu/adegreefurther. I'm your host, Mariana, and thank you so much for listening.